You won't believe this. Labour just announced some of the harshest immigration crackdowns the UK has seen in years, and they're due to present them to the House of Commons today. This is not the Tories doing it, it's Keir Starmer's Labour Party. And the people who will pay the price? Our NHS, our care homes, the Scottish hospitality sector, farmers, and ultimately, all of us. It's a case of Labour moving to the right again, this time to prove to the would-be English reform voters they can scapegoat migrants like the worst of them. Let's take a look at what they're planning to do. So the big changes are, under Labour's new plans, skilled worker visas will now only be available for jobs that require degree-level qualifications, what the government calls RQF6 or above. Jobs below that, like care work, hospitality, farming, that require foreign migrants, and we're already hit hard by Brexit, you can forget about recruiting from overseas unless it's for a short-term emergency shortage. And even then, employers will need to prove they have a plan to hire British workers first. But get this, they're completely shutting down the overseas care worker visa route altogether. That means no more new care workers from abroad. This is a sector that already has 120,000 vacancies, and where 70,000 staff are from overseas. Care England calls it cruel. Unison calls it reckless. And the care sector is screaming that this will literally collapse services. But Labour, they're saying it's decisive action to fix a broken system. Home Secretary Yvette Cooper claims the Tories left the UK with a free market experiment that distorted the labour market. Now Labour's trying to slam on the brakes and have told employers they must pay more and offer more training to attract UK workers. And what happens to the tens of thousands of migrant care workers already here? Well, Labour says they can stay, maybe. Cooper said employers are encouraged to extend their visas, but nothing is guaranteed. No clarity, no security for these workers. And these are the people keeping our parents and grandparents alive, picking our fruit and veg, and in Scotland working in places like rural Highland hotels, vital for our tourism industry. Unison warns these workers will now be living in fear, anxious about their future. But Labour's message is clear, it's time to end care worker recruitment from abroad. No plan, no funding, no backup. So why now? It's panic mode in Westminster. Reform UK just humiliated Labour and the Tories in the local elections. Farage is surging in the polls on an anti-immigrant ticket. And instead of debating the flawed narrative that our problems are down to net migration, Labour is jumping into the right-wing's anti-immigrant cesspit to take Farage on head-to-head. The SNP, the Scottish Greens, even the Lib Dems are calling Labour's plans cruel, extreme and self-defeating. But Labour, they're saying this is a clean break from the past and that migration must be a privilege, not a right. And they're throwing in other hardline policies too. Migrants will now need to wait 10 years, not 5, before they can settle in the UK. English tests will be tougher across all visa routes, including for adult dependents, meaning that families could be split up. And only a select few, like AI or engineers or nurses, will get a fast track to settlement. But let's be real, what does this actually mean? Experts say the care sector faces an immediate staffing crisis. Migrants will be forced into years of expensive temporary visas, constantly in limbo. And only people celebrating Farage and the far right will now see their talking points being echoed in government. Oxford's Migration Observatory says most migrants already speak English well. The problem isn't integration, it's politicians using migrants as scapegoats to divert attention away from the fact the rich keep getting richer. Inequality is soaring. It's driving down our living standards and bankrupting government. Things like capital gains and inheritance are not taxed fairly, and there are still too many easy loopholes to hide money offshore, which leaves the Treasury short of money and then hits our public services. The fact more people care about net migration than this is the result of a 50-year right-wing media campaign to hide the fact neoliberalism was benefiting only the few at the very top. In the 90s, the Tories scapegoated single mums on benefits, their spin on Reagan's welfare queen BS. Then it was chavs on benefits. And now it's the same right-wing media courting the same white English working class voters in support of the far right, telling them it's all immigrants' fault and that they are the victims of multiculturalism. Also, the rich can keep getting richer as we blame the wrong people again. And listen, if Farage did get his own way and immigration was stopped, The right would be right back to blaming the English working class for all our problems. The Migration Observatory says this won't actually reduce net migration much, because many of these roles have already been declining. What it will do is wreck services, push up visa fees, and make Britain one of the most hostile, expensive and insecure places for migrants in the Western world. And what about Scotland? Well, we're furious. The SNP and Scottish Greens are saying these are policies made for England's elections, not Scotland's needs. Scotland's ageing population, farmers, tourism and NHS all depend on migration to survive. But once again, decisions are made in Westminster with zero regard for Scotland. Another example of the wide divide between Scotland and England when it comes to political ideology and economic needs, as we stand on our hills and watch yous become more and more of a right-wing basket case of a place, all to protect rich city traders and the like. The Scottish Government have been calling for a Scottish visa to meet our unique skills and economic needs, but migration is still fully controlled by Westminster, and the Tories, and now Labour, Red Tories, have rejected this. So here's the question for you. Is this about fixing the system? Or is it about Farage, Reform UK and a race to the bottom to see who can be more anti-migrant? Because let's be honest, when care homes collapse and the NHS crumbles even more, Farage won't be there to pick up the pieces. It'll be ordinary people paying the price. Westminster really has become a right-wing battle royale. When are the so-called Labour government going to stand up for working people and not continue with the right's fear-mongering, immigrant baiting, smoke and mirror tactics? It's time the rich paid their fair share.